Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about finding and creating a citation where zBib doesn't work, right? So let's say that you were doing some research and you found this textbook, Concrete Mathematics by Donald Knuth, and you happen to be able to find an online version of the textbook. And so you come in, you say, here, let me copy the website. Let me come to my zBib and say, let me enter that URL and let me go to cite. And what you'll notice, it'll be like, hey, I can't cite this because it's a PDF and I don't know what to do. Okay? In those cases, you're going to have to create a manual entry and say, hey, this is a book. And what's the name of the book? Concrete Mathematics. So you'll come over here and say the name of the book is Concrete Mathematics, right? And then who are the authors? And we'll go look and we'll say, hey, there's three authors, and alphabetically we have Ronald L. Graham, and we're going to want to include our names how we see them. So we have Ronald L. Graham. Let's come over here, right? And I might say I just want it as a one, and then I have another author, right? And that other author is Donald Knuth from Stanford University. Right, let's come back over here. We have Donald Knuth, and I also have, right, this Orem Patashnik from the Center for Communications Research. And like I said, I want to enter in the name as one. That's fine. So Orem Patashnik, and we'll just make sure everything's spelled correctly, right? Serious, right? No, but we do have an edition, and this happens to be the second edition. So we'll come over here and we'll say, hey, it is the second edition. All right, place publisher, right? So then we have our publisher, and we have Addison Wesley Publishing Company, okay? And it'll be much easier if you happen to have it. Just come over and control copy and paste if you can. If not, you're going to have to write it by hand. Okay, and then we say our date or our original date, and we can look to the information to see when our original date of publication is and when the second edition would happen to be, right? We want to be able to look to find that information if we can. And it's not always going to be possible to find. So here's what we have in terms of bibliography management and what is required to include. All right, so if we come over and we say, okay, let me look and say if I had a book, I need to make sure that I have my author. I need to make sure I have my title. I need to make sure I have my publisher. I really should also have the address of the publisher, right, where it was published, as well as the year it was published. Now, what must go in, okay? Well, if we look to our reference for what must go in on BibTeX, and we say if we have a book, right, we must have our author. We can have multiple authors. We must have the editor if it's available, right? We have to have the publisher. We have to have the title. And yes, it is necessary. It is required to have the year. So we've got to come over here and say, okay, well, the second edition, right, where was it published, right? Well, it may have been published in many places, so we can just select one of the locations for where it was published. We'll say Reading, Massachusetts. But then when was it published? We'll say, okay, well, the second edition seems to have been published, right? And we say, well, if I'm looking, Knuth, Donald Irvin, Patashnik Orem was added, right? And we have, what do we have? We have that it was published in 1994, right? The 1990 35-2, that's the age of Ronald Graham. 1938, that's the age of Donald Irvin, born in 38, and Orem Patashnik, right, born in 54. So the actual date that we're working with is 1994 for this second edition. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say the place is Reading, Massachusetts, and the year, because we do need to have the year. Where is my year? So the date we can say was 1994, right? And that's the information that we need to make sure that we include. And so now I have the information for Ronald Graham. We have the information for how it's going to be set up. And we can export and download our BibTeX. Right. Once again, I have had all my other ones, right? So I might just overwrite what I had before. And really and truly, I simply need the particular details for this one. And so I come over and I say, okay, well, I need this Ronald Graham one, right? So I have Ronald Graham book, control copy, and I will come over and enter that into my citations, right? And I'll say, okay, boom, here I have my next citation, okay? And what we will see is if I come over to my main text and I compile, right, my references will still simply be the references that I have used. If I didn't use the reference from my bibliography, it doesn't get used, right? But if I do use it, right, I know that it's going to be Ronald Graham Concrete 1994, right? And so I might shorten that up. I might shorten that up to be something easier for me to catch. So I might be, Graham et al., right, and 1994, that I know the particular reference that I'm going to have. So then main text, right? And I might have how to insert a figure. And then after how to insert a figure, I said in this other book, Concrete Mathematics, right? Donald Knuth states dot, 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 and I need to make sure that I cite that, and I'm citing Graham et al. Now, Donald Knuth, right, might be who I am referencing, but because this book has alphabetically Graham is coming first, then I'm going to cite with Graham first, right? So I can come in, rerun my information, right? Notice that I forgot a period, so I want to insert the period, but in this other book, I've got that information, and then I now have my reference, right? And for this one, notice the order of my reference, right? And here's going to be an issue for us. We have Ronald Graham, Donald Knuth, Orrin, Patashnik, but this Ronald is coming after the P of Pradeep rather than the Erdos and the Mudalik and the Graham. And the reason for that is how we input the names. And we want to make sure that our input of the names is correct and consistent. We want to make sure that our input of names is correct and consistent. Generally, when we do alphabetical, it's going to be alphabetical by last name, which would mean that I need to come over here to my zBib, right? Adjust this manual entry, whoops. And so the one that I need to adjust is this Ronald Graham, and I need to adjust this so that it is two names. Well, look at how easy that is, right? Look at how easy it is to make that adjustment on the names, right? But that means I need to re-download this BibTeX file or type out the information on my own. Right, and maybe I want it as a separate. Now it's citations one, which is fine. I open the file when I'm done, come in, right, and I may only, right, if I change the citation, I may only want up to the address part and control, but I'm going to leave the top part alone because I changed my citation, so I may only want to replace everything after the citation. Now, when I recompile, because everything is done by last names, now notice that Graham is coming after Erdos, but before Mudhalik. Okay, so very, very important that you keep that information well organized. Okay, I know that's a lot, But for us right now, that's our focus is citations. If yours isn't perfect, that's okay. We've got time to be able to fix.